Good day, TSU students. I'm Raven and you're watching Ment Develop. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the new episode of Ment Develop. This episode for today is made specially for you guys, which talk about Eric Erikson and basic information about psychosocial development. Eric Erikson was born on June 15, 1902 and died on May 12, 1994. He was a Danish German American developmental psychologist and psychoanalyst known for his theory on psychological development of human beings and the concept of identity crisis. Isa siyang professor sa mga prominent institutions like Harvard, University of California, University of Berkeley, and University of Yale. Kahit na wala siyang bachelor degree or naglalak siya ng bachelor degree, nakapagturo siya sa mga universities and siya rin ang 12 most eminent psychologists of the 20th century. Eric Erikson was a neo-Freudian psychologist who accepted many of central tenets of Freudian theory but added his own ideas and beliefs. His theory of psychosocial development is centered on what is known as the epigenetic principle, which proposes that all people go through a series of 8 stages. Dear TSU students, I'm glad to present to you who Eric Erikson is. To help us more elaborate on the topic basic information in psychosocial development, I'm glad to introduce to you our interviewers.
Hi! Good day, TSU student. I am Janice Isla.
I'm Michelle V. Sanguyo.
My name is Rosel Salaysay.
I am John Lloyd Alcantara.
Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng psychosocial development, Mr. Alcantara?
Psychosocial development is one of the best-known theories of personality in psychology. Belief that personality develops in a series of stages. Erikson's theory describes the impact of social experience across the whole lifespan. Here we will find out what we are and how other people recognize us. Dito, sinasabi yung personality natin ay nade-develop siya gradually. It can help us yung mga experience natin sa buhay at yung interaction natin sa ibang tao, makakatulong ito para mas maunawaan natin yung sarili natin. And it provides a broad framework from which to view development throughout the entire lifespan. It also allows us to emphasize the social nature of human beings and the important influence that social relationships have on development.
Ano pa ba ang ibang informasyon na alam mo about dito?
One of the main elements of Erikson's psychosocial stage theory is the development of ego identity. Ego identity is the conscious sense of self that we develop through social interaction. So dito, ang pakikipag-interact natin sa iba ay makakatulong sa ating development as a human and makakatulong din yung society natin na makilala yung sarili natin. Also, it will help us to be aware of everything and we know what we are doing. Nakapaloob rin dito ang tinatawag na identity crisis. Are you questioning who you are? Maybe what your purpose is? Or what your values are. If so, you may be going through what some call an identity crisis. The term identity crisis first came from developmental psychologist and psychoanalyst Erik Erikson. He introduced the ideas of adolescent identity crisis as well as middle crisis, believing that personalities develop by resolving crises in life. If you're experiencing an identity crisis, you may be questioning your sense of self or identity. This can often occur due to big changes or stressors in life, or due to factors such as age or advancement from certain stage, for example, school, work, or childhood.
nalaman natin na ang psychosocial development is how a person's individual thoughts mesh with the needs of society. And psychosocial is interrelation of social factors with the individual thoughts. Good day, Ms. Rosal. Can you tell us the different stages of psychosocial development?
The first one is basic trust versus basic mistrust. The virtue on this is hope. Second is autonomy versus shame. This stage talks about will. Third is the initiative versus guilt. On this stage will lead us to purpose. Fourth, industry versus inferiority. Competence is the virtue on this stage. Fifth is identity versus role confusion. This is where identity crisis fall and the virtue of identity. Next one is intimacy versus isolation. The generality versus stagnation. On this stage, it will lead us to virtue of care. Lastly, ego integrity versus despair. The virtue of this stage, it involves us of feelings of a living successful life or what we call wisdom.
Can you tell us more about these 8 stages?
At each psychological stage, people face a crisis that needs to be successfully resolved in order to develop the psychological qualities central to each stage. Erickson's theory marked a shift from Freud's psychosexual theory, in that it described the impact of social experiments across the whole lifespan instead of simply focusing on childhood events. It follows the traditional approach of development.
Thank you, Ms. Rosal. Talaga nga namang ang buhay ay punong-puno ng mga stages para magkaroon ng isang development sa isang tao. Well, we will have deeper knowledge and understanding as more episode and more topic to be discussed on the future. Let's move forward. So, let's move forward on the strength and weakness of psychosocial development of Erik Erikson. So, Miss Michelle, ano nga ba ang weakness ng psychosocial development ni Erik Erikson?
Major weaknesses of Erikson's psychosocial development theory is that Erikson himself concedes the theory falls short of explaining how and why development occurs. Hindi na-explain or walang proof na naibigay si Erik Erikson kung paano nga ba nangyayari ang isang development or kung bakit nagde-develop ang isang tao. Erikson does not clarify how the outcome of one psychosocial stage influences one's personality in a later stage.
How about the strength of psychosocial development, Miss Janice?
Hi Raven! The first strength of Erikson theory is its ability to connect important psychosocial development across a person's lifespan. This approach provides a pragmatic perspective on personality development. So, yun nga, yung psychosocial development is connected siya sa buhay ng tao. Kung paano siya mag-develop as a human being. Another strength of psychosocial development theory is that it demonstrates middle and late adulthood are active and significant periods of personal growth, while the other theories are deems both stages irrelevant. As we observe on ourselves, middle and late adulthood is mas nakakapag-gain tayo ng experiences natin. Dito rin tayo mas nakapag-socialize. Kaya sa part na to, dito natin madidevelop yung psychosocial natin. Adding to that theory is that people can relate to the various stages through their own experiences.
Pero, ang palagi nating pakakatandaan, ang psychosocial stages ay isa lamang theory na kung saan malalaman kung paano nga ba nade-develop ang isang tao.
Some research may support certain aspect of the psychosocial stages.
But that does not mean that every aspect of this theory is supported by evidence.
The theory can, however, be a helpful way to think about of the different conflicts and stages that people may face as they go through life.
I'm glad to present to all of you our interviewers. Ito nga, sabi ka rin aso, pinamasalas.
Erickson Psychosocial Stage Theory ulit.
Major weaknesses of Erickson's psychosocial
Ay, so mamanok kayo.
Oy! Puti kayo!
Does not mean but wag ka maingay.